look at 8 semesters, that's 15 credits a semester, and that is a normal load. Anything 15, 16, and 17 credits are normal loads. Students who work a lot sometimes take less credits. There also are opportunity for students to take credits during summer. We have 3 4-week summer sessions here, and some courses are just 4-week courses. Math courses are 8-week courses, so many of the science courses be. We have an intersession in January where a student can take either a 2 or 3 credit class. So if they decide to take some of those, that means they can reduce the number of credits they take during any fall or spring semester. So in addition to, again, the advising and the math assistants, we also have language arts assistants. And again, we have students who act as tutors or mentors that, again, are there almost every day. It's not the same students. There are 5 or 6 that deal with math and 5 or 6 that deal with language arts. So when a student has some kind of a theme or a paper to do, the student tutor can assist them in finding resources and organizing the paper, and lastly, in proofreading it before it gets handed in. Now, other than language arts things and mathematics, if students are having problems in any particular class, we can provide them with an individual student tutor where our tutor coordinator, Tom Lane, will find a particular student who had the course and earned an A or an AB, and they will pair the two together via basic email communication. And then whatever hours per week the student tutors the individual who requests the tutor, our program compensates them. And every year we find we have more students asking for tutors and more people that we get to do tutoring for us. And the biggest area is chemistry. Last year, I would guess 80% of the students that requested tutors were for chemistry 103 or 104. After that, it was biology. And then there were a few in various other courses like accounting, or it could be anything, sociology, etc., etc. But that's basically the complete program. You know, our mission is your success, it says on my door. And students who take advantage of all the opportunities that are available can be very successful compared to students who don't wish to take advantage of those opportunities. I'm going to provide each of you with one of these informational folders here that actually there are some pictures of some of us that are involved in the program, including myself in here in one situation. But it talks about the various things that I've kind of highlighted here as far as what we do for student support services. It mentions eligibility, it talks about student commitment, it talks about the advising situation. We also have very good connections with all the other campus resources, whether it happens to be the Academic Advising Center, the admissions people, career services, registrar's office, and can send people to specific areas to answer the questions that students might have, or we can make telephone calls on their behalf and provide them the answer via that particular route. The one area that I always send students to so they can see the counselors one-on-one is the financial aid situation. Financial aid changes so much each year that those of us that are advisors do not feel like we can keep up with it, so we just send the students over to the experts in that area. Another area would be students that would be having some kind of personal or emotional problem. Counseling center is right next door. You can walk them right on over there. There's also a lady over there that can work with students on things like time management, how to take different types of exams, prepare education students for a PPST test that they have to take before they can get anywhere near the School of Education. And that's a 3-part test. It's basic math, there's a written composition, and then there's a test relating to English, grammar, reading and interpreting, those kinds of things. You take them on a computer. 2 of the 3, as soon as you're done, you know your score, you know whether or not you've passed according to the demands of the School of Ed. The composition score takes a while to get back. And believe it or not, it's the composition score that quite often has to be, the composition part has to be redone. The because the score is below the passing level for one reason or another. And at one time, we used to offer a non-credit pre-statistics course for students that would have to take statistics but didn't know anything about it. However, we do not offer that anymore, so that's why I've crossed that out in here. But every particular institution that has a student support services program will have some type of information, but it's up to the student to find out where they are and go and make application. We normally will send out letters to students who would be qualified sometime during the summer before their freshman year. But they get so many things in the mail from the university, many times those letters get tossed aside, and students don't necessarily come in right away. After they find out from their roommates or people in their residence halls or people in their classes that there is such a program, they'll come over and get involved. I would say that word of mouth is probably the most significant attribute as far as marketability of our program to students on campus. Sometimes even instructors will notice the students having problems in a particular course, particularly again in mathematics, and send them over to check to see if they're qualified to be a part of our program. Now, we have many departments that will provide student tutors that are paid for by the department. But those are never a one-on-one basis because they're always a group situation. And the math department does provide those opportunities for students who do not qualify to take advantage of what we have to offer. But anyway, wherever you're going to go, have all of you determined where you're going to be going to school? You know, Paul, if we're all in that category or not? Are there any of you that are planning on attending the WSO? Okay, for those of you, 109 Wilder Hall currently is where the Student Support Services program is. And Wilder Hall is, if you're over in Wing Communication and you look this way, it looks like a residence hall, because it is a former residence hall. It's got big windows in the front. Just walk in, you go up the steps, turn left, go past the copy machine, that's 109. You just walk in there and ask to fill out an intake form. Now, when I said we are currently there, we've been there for 30 years, I guess. But the University Expansion Project calls for, in the summer of 2009, Wilder Hall, Trowbridge Hall, and Barrett Hall to all be demolished. And there's going to be a huge new academic building called Centennial Hall built on that spot that will have a lot of classrooms, plus most of the offices that are currently in Wilder Hall will be located somewhere within Centennial Hall. In fact, if all of those classrooms are filled at a given time, there can be 5,000 students in that one building. So it's going to be a large building. Now, in between the summer of 2009 and the fall of 2011, when that new building becomes operational, Student Support Services will have a temporary location. Nobody seems to know where that's going to be. So we're all kind of waiting for the campus planning people to tell everybody in Wilder Hall. At the top floor now is the military science folks, which serve students not only from BWL, but also from the Turbo and Winona State. The second floor is the career services and the residence life area. And the first floor is the counseling and testing area and the student support service area. They all have to go somewhere. And in the lower level, we have the advising center. And we don't have a lot of extra room on this campus. If you were to scout around various areas, they tell us that perhaps there might be some room in the Whitney Center. There might be something in the basement of Cartwright Center. There's the possibility of mobiles